and welcome to Solo Parenting, the show for all single parents, whether you're a mom or a dad, divorced, widowed, or never married, custodial or visitational. I'm Cynthia McGregor, and with me this week is guest David EISENSON. As always, we have Michelle Stern, psychotherapist, Julie Dimwat with money-saving ideas, Leah Gizzi, and our Parent Talk panel.
Parenting, it's life's toughest job under any circumstances, but even harder when you're doing it on your own. Now, from Cynthia McGregor, Solo Parenting. It's the book you need. How do you handle it when there just aren't enough hours in the day to do it all by yourself? What do you do when you run into your ex at the school play and he's got his new girlfriend with him? How do you help your kids understand that even though you and Daddy no longer love each other, you will always love your kids? This marvelous book is available for all popular e-readers or read it right on your computer. It costs just $4.99. Go to the web address on your screen and order your copy now.
Our guest this week is David EISENSON of College Planning Masters. Hi, David. Welcome to the show.
Good morning, Cynthia.
Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome. David, paying for college tuition is tough on almost any family, but especially on solo parents who typically struggle more financially. How can separated or divorced parents legally cut the cost of college by as much as 90%? That was what you said?
Yeah, that's true.
Enlighten us.
I will, but I'd like to preface any explanations, strategies, recommendations that I make today by saying that anything that I mention today is always legal, moral, and ethical in terms of those strategies. To answer your question, when we have a situation where there is a single parent, if it is the case where there's a separation or a divorce, with one parent being more affluent and the other parent perhaps being more needy or just being able to get by, most of the time we're able to use, if the less affluent parent is the custodial parent, we're very often able to use just the income and assets of that parent in the financial aid formulas, and that usually helps the students tremendously with financial aid.
Now, you said that child support payments can be legally excluded from the financial aid calculations. How does that work?
Again, legally, morally, and ethically speaking, a lot of times we'll, in lieu of child support payments, if we're able to, we'll incorporate the strategy of gifting from one family member to the other, because child support will add to the custodial parent's bottom line on their income tax, and if it is a gift from one family member to the other, that would limit the income in any calendar year and greatly help the student in terms of financial aid, once again.
Good. Now, is it true that students whose grades suffered as a result of a divorce or separation can still be considered as qualified applicants if they have an academic turnaround?
Oh yeah, for sure. One of the key elements of the application process is the essay. A lot of times schools will ask for 2 or 3 different essay responses, and if the student is able to bring this into full focus in that essay, a lot of times the colleges, in lieu of acceptable grades and SAT scores, a lot of times the colleges will give special consideration in terms of admissions and financial aid.
Now, you're having a free college planning workshop, if I'm not mistaken,
That's right.
August 9th and 10th. Tell us about it. What's involved? Where is it held? Where can our viewers get information? What's covered in the workshops? What times do they run? The whole schmear.
Just that. Okay.
Tall order, isn't it?
Not at all, not at all. What I try,
Spew it out.
I will. I try to set aside some time every month, especially during the school year. We'll start again in about a week or two, as you mentioned, August 9th and August 10th. I do these free college admissions and financial aid workshops so that families and their students can come out receive, frankly, a lot of information they're not getting anywhere else. We talk about financial aid strategies. We talk about things like Bright Futures, changes to Bright Futures, what students need to do to get proactive, ahead of the pack, so to speak. All the information is useful. Families can leave these workshops with a lot of useful information that they can incorporate into their college planning immediately. And the workshops are free. They're well attended. We're doing one on August 9th at the Crexent Business Center, where our offices are located. That's on Lake Worth Road, 6:30, I believe, 6:30 to 8 p.m. And then another one at the Wellington Community Center the following evening, again 6:30 to 8 on West Forest Hill. RSVP is always requested to reserve seats. We have a phone number. It's 713-1144.
713-1144.
Or you can visit our website, which is
www.collegeplanningmasters.com. www.collegeplanningmasters.com.
And we've got a great Facebook site. If you want to follow us and our students all around the Facebook world, you're welcome to do that too. It's College Planning Masters.
Okay. And what do you cover in the workshops?
Well, at the workshops, I try to do different things, especially help families dispel the myths. You know, a lot of times they're getting information from their financial planners, their CPAs and accountants, and you know, that's certainly a big help if you're looking towards retirement, wealth management, and estate planning. That's important. But we cover things on the financial aid side for families that deal mostly with financial aid and planning for financial aid for college from a college planner's perspective. Some of those myths that we try to dispel is that some families decide they're not going to fill out the forms because they believe they make, and I'm sure some of your viewers have this problem, they make too much money. Not. But a lot of families that think they make too much money to qualify for aid, or just the opposite. They make not enough money for qualifying for financial aid. In both cases, it would certainly be a mistake to not fill out the forms, because this year there's over $160 billion available in financial aid. And unfortunately, over half the families that qualify for financial aid don't start out filling out the forms because they just find the process too complicated. Then you've got situations where families don't know how to value their house. So we talk about, not that there's a lot of equity left in our homes here in South Florida, but you can use something like the Housing Index Multiplier, which you can Google search, and it's very easy to misrepresent the value of your home and basically shoot yourself in the foot by giving the colleges a snapshot of the value of your home, showing them too much equity when you really don't have to. If you use the Housing Index Multiplier, tell them the year you bought the house, what you paid for it when you bought it, the zip code where you're living, up comes a number. You really want to use that number as opposed to something you may have gotten off of Zillow or from a friend telling you what their house just sold for. Because if you show too much equity, the colleges are going to tell you to wrap a rope around that sucker and drag it down to the bank for a home equity loan, because that's how you're going to help us pay for college. We also try to tell people that when they visit colleges, oftentimes those campus visits are ended with someone handing them a business card and telling them, no matter what happens, we want you to come back, we want your student to come back to this school, and here's my business card, call me if you have any problems. Well, keep in mind that these are people whose salary you're going to pay next year if the student goes to that school, and calling the school when you're in the midst of financial aid applications, asking them how to pay less to come to their college is just like calling the IRS and asking them on the helpline how I can pay less taxes this year. So it doesn't work.
No.
So it really doesn't work. And we run the full gamut of both topics of interest for students as well as parents. And again, like I said, you'll go home with a treasure chest full of useful information following these workshops.
Now, what if one of our viewers can't make the August 9th and 10th? You have them every month? Is that what you said?
During the school year, I try to get out there in the community. We have some private workshops, different corporate entities that ask me to come in and do presentations to their employees, some churches and synagogues, youth groups. But for most of the school year, if you visit our website, again, that's www.collegeplanningmasters.com, we'll post any upcoming workshops where I'd say at least once a month, if not every other month during the school year, you'll have an opportunity to come visit and get that information.
Now, you said something intriguing before. You said that Facebook and texting and email messages can kill your chances for admissions. Want to explain that?
Oh yeah, I mean, you've got a situation today, it's not a situation that just came up, but with all these social websites, we've got Facebook, and we've got emailing and text messaging and sending pictures to one another. You know, the kids use the expression BFF. Today they may be your best friend, and you may have sent a picture that you may second guess yourself for having sent that picture, some questionable items online. You've got to remember, they're just sometimes a click away from your file on an admissions officer's desk. And you want to clean up your act online. You know, the American Civil Liberties Union was dealing with this a few years back, and there's nothing that parents can do or students can do if the school wants to check you out online and go beyond just your perfectly squeaky clean application. They can see these things. You're communicating with the schools. They have access to the stuff you have online. With all due respect to the seniors out there, senior citizens out there, I use the expression the grandma rule. If you've got something online, a picture or something questionable that you posted, and you wouldn't want your grandmother to see it, take it down. Get it down now. And emailing to schools, dedicate a separate email address to the schools, because a lot of times students forget that they have some jazzed up email address that you wouldn't want after you've got a great impression going and you send an email to the school and you click send and it's from partygirl at, partygirl109 at yahoo.com or drunkenmonkey38 at AOL.com. These are impressions you don't want to leave in the admissions officer's mind.
I think we have time for one more question, and that is, what is the #1 way to get more money from a school after receiving your financial aid package?
Good question. I would tell your viewers to just keep in mind that college is big business. And when you peel back the ivy and you look into the windows of these schools with $160 some odd billion at stake, and you wanting your fair share, you've got to remember that when the financial aid package arrives from each and every school, your first goal is to spreadsheet the offers, see where the best fit is for your student first, academically and culturally, but also who's going to provide the best offer. And if you remember that schools are a business, in any business, everything is negotiable. And when you get that financial aid package in the mail with an assortment of free money and self-help money, loans, scholarships, and grants, that's just their first offer. And every parent has the right. They hide the fact that it's called the appeals process. They may be, academics, but they are also bean counters. And as such, they're going to send you their first offer, and with a really good, when it's warranted, a good appeal letter, oftentimes we're able to bring up those awards each and every year, because as the years go on, students are under-awarded, mis-awarded, and many times it's intentional by the school. So you have to counter that with an appeal letter when you think the process warrants it.
Well, thank you very much, David EISENSON. We appreciated having you with us.